Irashaimase, oha gozaimasu, konnichiwa. It's me, Miyanzavut Andres Salazar. Bienvenidos a la channel Art of Comics. It's me. We talk about comic books here. Let's just get that straight, okay? We talk about art, illustration, graphic novels, comics. And I'm excited to share with you guys about a comic here. We're going to go with this little floppy. First Comics. This is Hawkmoon, Jewel in the Skull, number 4. This is a 4-part series, the end of the series, this little mini-series of Michael Moorcock's series of books. Now, he wrote novels in the 80s called The History of the Rune Staff. Main character, Hawkmoon. And so this is adaptation of those fantasy novels by the creative team of Gary Conway. I know Gary Conway. I've met Gary Conway. Gary Conway, the script, and Rafael Canayan is the pencils. And Rico Rival is the inker. And who colors is Tom Luth. So the 80s. In the 80s, it was a boom for the economy, and it was a boom for comics. The direct market began too the early 80s, meaning instead of comic books being sold in newsstands next to the magazines and the spinner racks, they now could be sold directly to retailers. And this is the beginning of the local comic book shops. This is comic book shops now could now get their comics directly from the publishers and their retailers now, and they could sell the books. This opened up a whole new chain of smaller, more independent publishers being able to sell directly to those retailers, and First Comics is one of them. So besides Marvel, DC, Atlas, Dell, all those big names, you now have smaller companies like First. In the 80s, they spring up. They take some hot talent like Steve Rude and Nexus, Howard Chaykin with American Flag, and so forth, who had worked for the big publishers, and now giving them these cool deals and royalties and things like that, and ownership of their intellectual property. They now are publishing these books, and more. Hawkmoon is one of them. So I read this book, having not read any Hawkmoon, having not read Michael Moorcock's fantasy, none of that. I know Conan, I know Tolkien, I know that kind of stuff, but that's it. And let's just take a look at it. Let's do it. Ba-da-ba-bow.
Are you ready?
Okay, I'm going to show you the comic as I flip through it here and just chat over it. First off, I got to say the splash page is really cool. I do like the inking job on this, and just the cool graphic of this. Like in D&D, we call this a rock. These birds are called rocks. I don't know if this is a rock, but it's a big, massive bird that you can ride. And again, like I said, this is Michael Moorcock's adaptation of his books. And yeah, the art looks cool. I actually kind of like the inking. I like the line quality here on the mountains, the different kind of work that's being done. Normally I would say it's just okay. I'm like, it's okay. It's like, 80s style comics. But I'm actually going to be much more generous and say, you know what? This is actually pretty darn good. And it's hard to draw things in costume. It's hard to draw lots of characters and have panels full of like action. And if you look at the positioning and the body and the anatomy and stuff, it's good. Muscles are good. The feathering, kind of like inking, is very nice. I don't have any problem with this at all. It's really well done. And again, it's difficult to draw all these figures, and you're kind of making them somewhat gestural and kind of having some kind of dynamic movement involved, so it's not heavily detailed. So you're inking and you're drawing kind of light, kind of quick stuff, a la Walt Simonson or Bushima, something like that. And so it's got a little bit of that gestural quality that I like. It's not heavily rendered. It's not like a Jim Lee type of thing at all. It's much more Mark Silvestri type of work. But I think all the line making is really nice. Mark making. This rain here with these bodies, it's really cool, man. I think it would actually look good in black and white too. Just thinking about how these inks are done, I think a black and white version of this would be pretty cool. Not that the color's bad, but I think that the inking would even pop even more with the black and white. But yeah, I'm digging it. I'm actually thinking it's pretty neat. The story itself is okay. I mean, this is a plot comic book. This is like plot. This happens, and this happens, and this happens. There's no like question of why. It's just how, right? How it happens, and that's what plot is. And so this happens this way, and then this happens, but it's full of adventure and battles. And if you want to look at cool battles and things like that, that's what this is. And I think if I was a 10-year-old, 12-year-old, 15-year-old, something like that, I would totally be into this. Art-wise, I actually think I like this more than Steve Rude's Nexus, of the one issue I read of Steve Rude's Nexus. Maybe Steve Rude has better stuff later on or whatever, but as far as I was going to do like head to head, pound for pound, these two issues, I'd probably say art-wise, I think I like this one more. And maybe even story. But that's my take. Thanks for watching. Check out my own art, my own kind of creative things at salzarentertainment.com. I also have a Patreon, Andre Salazar, on Patreon. And you can subscribe to this channel. You can even be a member of this channel and get videos early, new, and some member-only stuff. So check it out. Thanks, guys. Bye.